Listen, you can't become the next version of yourself while still protecting the habits that built the old one. And nobody likes hearing this part, but it's true. You don't get a resurrection without a funeral. Most people think their biggest problem is outside pressure, fake support, bad timing, bad luck, and bad people. Sometimes, sure. But a lot of the time, it's actually internal. It's you trying to build a new life while secretly staying loyal to old patterns. And that loyalty feels noble, which is why it's dangerous. You brush it off as old history, chalk it up to personality, and eventually tell yourself, that's just how I am. But if how I am keeps producing the same pain, at some point, that's not identity. That's a loop. This is the trap nobody talks about. We don't hold onto bad habits because we love them. We hold onto them because they're familiar. And familiar can feel safe, even when it's hurting us. And that's why changing feels weirdly disloyal. Sometimes it feels like you're betraying the old version of yourself. Like you're disrespecting your story. Like changing how you move means pretending your past never happened. But growth isn't betrayal. Growth is honesty. You finally admitting that the old strategy got you this far and no further. Let me put it this way. If the old version of you was always tired, distracted, and negotiating with excuses, keeping those habits alive isn't being real. That's self-sabotage with nostalgia. Most of this battle is quiet. There's no dramatic music, no big speech, and nobody's clapping just because you stayed disciplined on a random Tuesday. It's quiet. It's catching yourself before you scroll for 40 minutes and closing the app. It's wanting to skip the work, but starting anyway. It's almost texting chaos back and choosing peace instead. That's the real conflict. Not old you versus the world. Old you versus one daily decision over and over. People love transformation talk because it sounds cinematic, but real change usually feels boring at first. It looks like cleaning a messy room, pushing through low energy, and doing what needs to be done with no hype and no one around to validate you. And if we're being honest, part of you will resist it, not because you're broken or anything, but because your nervous system likes what it knows, even if what it knows is limiting. So when you try to evolve, your brain starts bargaining. Tomorrow will be better. You need the right mood first. One more break won't matter. You've had a long day. And none of these thoughts sound evil. That's the point. The old identity doesn't scream. It whispers reasonable lies. That's why I said no resurrection without a funeral. The funeral means acceptance. It means something is over. You can thank the old version for surviving what it survived and still decide it cannot lead you anymore. Both can be true. Your past self got you through hard seasons. Respect that. But if you keep letting that same version make present decisions, you'll keep recreating old outcomes with new goals. And that's exhausting. You want peace, but you keep feeding stuff that makes life loud. You want momentum, but you're holding on to routines that kill it. You want confidence, but in private, you keep letting yourself down. And then you ask where the motivation went. Motivation didn't disappear. Trust did. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, you chip away at self-respect or self-trust. Not in some dramatic way, in a quiet way. And quiet damage is the hardest to notice until one day you're doubting everything. So what does this look like in real life? It looks like choosing a smaller promise and actually keeping it. Not 10 new rules. One rule you honor daily. It looks like removing one behavior that drains your focus and replacing it with something boring but useful. It looks like ending the day able to say, I kept my word today. That line matters more than people think. And when you slip, because you will, don't build a whole identity around one off day. That's another trick of the old self. You miss one day and suddenly it's, see, this is who I am. No, that was a day, not a definition. Reset quickly, then keep going. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You need to stop feeding what's clearly keeping you small. Day by day, choice by choice, quietly. Think of it this way. The old you loves intensity. The new you needs consistency. The old you waits for perfect conditions. The new you works with what's available. The old you wants to feel ready first, but the new you starts, then finds rhythm inside the work. And yes, people around you may not even notice these shifts at first, and that's fine. This chapter isn't about being seen. It's about being reliable to yourself again. So here's the honest question for today. What habit are you still defending that is clearly blocking the life you say you want? Don't overthink it. You already know the answer. Bury that pattern. Not your worth and not your history, just a pattern. Give it a proper funeral. And then make room for the version of you that's been suffocating under old habits or choices. You're not behind. You're just one honest decision away from breathing differently. And once that starts, everything changes. I appreciate you staying to the end. This is Donkey's Daily. Real truth, real growth, no fluff. If this speaks to you, subscribe and we'll keep building.